Yeah, you have to wait for me. Hi guys. How are you, Dore and Basho?
Sweet.
We'll just let people into the meeting room and then we'll get cracking.
Yes.
So thank you to everyone who's coming in, and we'll be getting going shortly. So we'll just wait a few more minutes. Thanks for everyone who's joining. And we often get asked this, but yes, we will be recording it. And we will be sending it out to people who've attended and also people who haven't attended. Quite possibly people who didn't attend or not attend. We just think they should watch it. Okay, right, let's get started then, because it's just after 2 o'clock. And thanks to everybody who's joining today, because today is a really interesting webinar we've got going. We're going to be looking at how to create a CRM powered CMS. So obviously there's a lot of acronyms in that: customer relationship management system, content management system. In case you didn't know, HubSpot does both those things. And today we're going to talk about how you can get them both to work together to really help grow your business and meet your targets. I'm actually just going to, while people are coming into the room, I'm just going to ask people via a poll, what is your HubSpot setup? Because there might be people who are joining us today who are using the HubSpot CMS and Marketing Hub. There might be people who are just using HubSpot CMS. There might be people who are just using the Marketing Hub. Hopefully, irrespective of which one of those you are, this will be useful content for you. So, Adora, I want to introduce you. So first of all, really pleased that we've got Adore from the BBD Boom team. Adore is in South Africa, and as we have a team of people all around the world now, actually, but Adore and Basho are in South Africa. Adore has been working with HubSpot for 7 years. Now I've only been working with HubSpot for 6 years, and Boom's only been going for 5 years, so that's pretty good going. Adore is our specialist on CMS, HubSpot CMS. And how many puppies have you got at the moment, Adore?
Oh, at the moment I have 4. Yes, so hopefully they keep quiet while we have the webinar going today.
And why do you have so many puppies?
Oh, I only foster them. Yeah, so the animal welfare in our area don't have a kennel, so they rely solely on volunteers to foster any pets that come in until they are rehomed. Oh,
that's really cute. And they're all sorts of different breeds and things like that. You don't really know what you're getting.
Yeah. No, it's a bit of a gamble each time. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's brilliant. So thanks very much for joining us, Dore. And Basho, welcome. Basho has also been working with HubSpot for 7 years. He's our senior developer. He's a full stack developer. Basho, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
He's got a special microphone. He looks like he does this a lot, but I think you actually do quite a podcasting as well, don't you?
Yeah, just give trainings and stuff like that.
So Basho is obviously a developer. So a bit later on, he's going to be going quite deep into some of the more technical elements of how this all works. Just briefly about Boom, we're a HubSpot elite agency. If we can go to that slide, and we work all around EMEA and a little bit of North America, and we're really all about helping businesses make the best use of HubSpot to help grow their business. In terms of the agenda today, what we're going to talk about is essentially why it's important to connect the CRM and the website, how CRM data can be used on your website, and how website activity can enrich your CRM. Please ask questions as you go. That'll be fantastic. And then later on, we've actually got a live demo of a new feature that's come out from HubSpot, which is membership portals. And Basho and Adore and the guys have actually built one of these using this new feature. And we're going to be able to do a live demo of that so people can kind of see what HubSpot is capable of doing. Okay, so the first question really, I suppose, if I can start with you, Dore, is why is it important to connect your CRM with your website? Because quite a lot of people, I think, don't do that, and quite a lot of people probably didn't realize you could or should do it.
Definitely. So the main reason why you would want to connect the two with each other is because essentially your website is your biggest sales and marketing tool. So if you have the ability to pull existing data from your CRM to use on your website, to personalize your website to specific users, to show them content that is relevant to them in their buyer's journey, wherever they are, then why wouldn't you want to do that? And it kind of goes the other way as well. Your website is an excellent tool to actually get more data from your website visitors to then add to your CRM, so that when your sales team or your marketing team reach out to these contacts, or even just to get more data on your existing contacts that are perhaps already clients, then it's a very easy process that you can do, and the two really do go hand in hand, and it's just beneficial for everybody if at the end of the day you use them together as opposed to try and keep them separate.
Thanks, Dore. That makes sense. And Basha, I think you've got a couple of thoughts on this as well.
Yes. So adding to what I'd already said, that the importance of it also is just because of it's gonna help you with your return on investments, because of like there is one article from HubSpot is saying that's almost like it can help you to increase 15% of your like return on investment. And so how is gonna do it? Because if you're not using it, so if you're not using the personalization and stuff like that, you're not connecting your CRM to your website, you see, so we're gonna kind of like lose a lot of lose a bit of revenue and stuff like that. So today consumer expect a lot from the website. So the rent certified any mobile said that acts simply as digital brochures. So now consumer want a website to provide dynamic, personalized experience that are tailored specifically to their need, and they want website to act like a software. So think about the success of companies like Netflix, Amazon, eBay. You see, they excel at creating highly personalized experience for their user. So when you're using one of those sites, it can feel like they know exactly what you need to watch or buy next before you even know it yourself. So this is because of they are constantly gathering data about you, and also using data to save up the most relevant content possible. You see, so getting data is not like is bad. It's just when you're using it legally, following the GDPR method and how to use it properly, things like that. So it's the key that you provide your website visitor with relevant content right away, because consumers today are constantly bombarded with digital content. So if your message doesn't resonate, then simply ignore it. So this is where personalization tokens really comes in. So the basic of it is just CMS helps you create experience for visitor. So while CRM, so CMS is gonna help you to create experience for visitor, and CRM helps track visit experience. So once you combine the two, so it's gonna really help you to generate a nice lead to convert them to become now buyers and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's really important to how to move CRM to CMS. It's really nice to move those.
As you said, Basha, it's going to make money. So I love that point. It's not not about brochure where this is about a lead generation machine. Quick question we've got already, which is great. So please bring the questions coming in. Hannah Maya asks, does HubSpot offer any functionality to identify web visitors that aren't in your CMS, like lead forensics? I mean, I can have a go at that. It does. It's got prospects tool, so you can get IP information that shows you what country and company comes from. We think it's I rarely say this about HubSpot, but it's kind of weak. And actually, there's other things out there like Lead Feeder and Lead Forensics that do a better job. Now, we used to work with somebody who works with Lead Forensics, and part of that is they do a huge amount of manual cleansing of the data because I don't think any automated system, it can very easily strip out the fact that your domain might be an ISP that's used by thousands of companies or millions of people. So it does, Hannah, but it's limited. I don't know if anyone else got anything to say about that. No.
Yeah. Also, just so the way that you did explain it, Adam, and also like the forms. You see, so once you collect also the data from the forms, is gonna start to build up your CRM. So the next time when they're visiting, you can give them also proper data. So the CRM also is there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a good point, Basha, because really we work with our clients to encourage them to work out how to improve conversion on the page, right? So that they're not just an anonymous website, but so they become known and into the CRM. And that's, as you said, Basha, much more valuable. Okay, Hannah, thanks for that question. So we've talked about the importance of this. So let's talk about some examples now of how CRM data can be used on your website. So information inside HubSpot, marketing or sales, and surfacing it on your website. So Adora, I think you've got some examples for us.
Yeah, sure. So the first one is smart content. So smart content basically allows you to manipulate your modules to show different content on different areas of your website to users based on specific criteria. So just as an example, what I have here at the moment is, if I can just show you a different slide. So here we have an example of a client portal where they wanted to show different content to different clients based on the level of permissions that they have. So the permission levels are basically controlled by segmented lists. So here you can see our smart rule is set to contact list membership. There are a couple of different smart rules criteria that you can use. In this example, we focused on membership lists. So in the first one, they have access to everything. So they have full permission. They can see all the documents. They can see all the news updates. They have access to absolutely everything. But if, for example, we go to the list that is marked as temporary, then you'll see they only have access to limited pieces of content. So they have to request further access to see, for example, the technical documents. They have to request further access to see the latest updates on the news stories. So this is a very easy way to kind of show different users specific information based on their buyer's journey, where they are. So if, for example, if you know that the visitor on your site is in the first pages, they're just looking for some information, they're just browsing around, then you would most likely show them content like blog posts or promote informational downloadable content from where, if you know that they further down in the process, like for example, they're already marketing qualified or potentially sales qualified, then you would push things like book a demo, speak to sales. You would basically communicate to them and show them content that is relevant to where they are, and not try and get them to book a demo when it's the very first time that they land on your website. So that is basically the main power of the smart content, is to really personalize the experience that the user has on your website based on where they are, and not necessarily the last point that you want them to be at.
That's brilliant, Dory. Thank you. And it's just so simple to deploy, isn't it, in HubSpot? We're not talking about extra plugins or extra bits of software. It's, define what the rules are, and then, change, each section like you're showing there according to it, and that's it. Off you go.
Exactly. It's very, very easy to do, yes.
A good way to start is just on a landing page, isn't it? Where someone could just try out this concept on one landing page.
Yes, that is a good example. So with a landing page, a good place to use this might be in your hero banner, for example, where depending on the criteria that you set, you can either show them content as if it's the first time that they've been on there and they have no idea what you're talking about, or where you show them a bit more experienced content where you realize they are familiar with what you do and they are familiar with your product, for example. So you can get a bit more technical in the message that you give to them.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay, great. So then the next example we have is personalization tokens. I'll hand over to Basho for this one.
Yes, yeah. So personalization tokens is just kind of like is a snippet. So a snippet variable that help us to pull the variable data from the CRM. So how do we use it? So we use this personalization token later, for instance, if you submit the users submit their form, now they redirect to so they're coming from the landing page, submit the form, they redirect to the thank you page. So that message that you see, thank you, thank you Adam for downloading for this thing. So that's thank you Adam one is using the personalization token, which you can see the contact.first name. You see, so then after that we have the default. You can have a default. The default can be there in case if there is no name or is there. Yeah, so there's no name, so you can have a default there. So now the why of using the personalization token is just that so personalizing the experience visitor have on your website involves much more than just adding their name to a page. So it's about getting the right content in front of the right person at the right time. So that's require collecting data about your visitor so that you can understand them, segment them, and also cater content to them. So a great example of website personalization in action is the homepage for Zipcard, so zipcard.com. So the content of the page changes based on where you are in the world. The one that almost like I'd already said that, if you have, it can change based to the smart content can change based to other is their location. You see, or other the person is interesting to different kind of content. You see, so for Zipcar like this, it's like if you are located in Boston, for example, the page will read Zipcar in Boston and display a map of available Zipcar in the Boston area. So Zipcar even goes so far as to personalize the text on the page to specify, site in Boston that people who live in the city will be able to immediately identify. So this type of personalization not only makes the page more relevant, it also makes it more helpful by allowing a visitor to see where they can find the Zipcar in their area. So another way to do that kind of personalization is the content based on your buyer personas. So that you can even go deep into that. So what we're gonna also do after this session, so we're gonna send you a nice document that's absolutely put together regarding the CRM to CMS, where you can get all the use case, how to use the personalization token and also how to personalize your site. Yeah.
That's cool. So Basho, just so I understand that, so you've got smart content, and then within smart content, you've got additional personalization you can do with these tokens if you want to.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So all those combinations, really, those are the kind of feature that is all is based to help you to personalize your website. So all of them is just to personalize, but now the token is there just to pull the variables. You see, so now there is a lot of variable that you can, because they're pulling it from the CRM database, and where now the CRM database against the contacts, where you have like a lot of custom properties, where you're gonna have the web activities and all the movement that the customer is doing. So you have those kind of informations. So then you can manipulate them, pull those data, and do whatever you want, in order to give them a proper user experience.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Great. So then the next example we have is the pop-up forms. So as most of you probably know, a pop-up form is that random little form that pops up onto the screen when you're either scrolling down a page or when you're just about to leave a page. The pop-up form can also be personalized using data from the CRM, and have an example of that where basically what we used from the CRM is to determine the targeting. So in this example, this is actually an example from our own website where we used visitor information and behavior to control who sees this pop-up. So this pop-up will only show when you are part of the specific segmented list that's selected, or if you are an unknown visitor. So it's not limited to segmented lists. You have quite a lot of criteria that you can use for pop-up forms to kind of control the behavior of the form. It can either be what device are you on, browser language, country, CTAs, click, days last visited. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of options, which essentially uses data from the CRM, if you are an existing contact within the CRM, to show you very specific forms on the website. And again, this is just to tailor the website experience for the customer, to show them exactly the information that is most relevant to them at that time, and also what would be most useful. And the pop-up forms can also, again, then be used to collect data for the CRM to just enrich the data and make sure that we know as much about these contacts as we possibly can without necessarily bombarding them with a whole bunch of forms and a whole bunch of things that they might end up opting out of if it's too overwhelming. From where, if we know that it's relevant content to them at the time when we show it to them, by using these kind of behavioral segmentation and targeting, then we know it's the best possible thing that we can be putting in front of them at that given time.
Very cool. Thank you so much. And I know for us, we use that, and it's back to that point we made earlier about optimizing conversion rate optimization. So if we're putting something up there that's really relevant to someone, they're more likely to fill it in and give us their details. Cool.
Definitely. Okay,
so let's look at it the other way then, Dory. So we're saying, how can the web activity enrich your CRM?
Okay, great. So the first one we have is the progressive form, which kind of ties into the pop-up form in a way. So what progressive forms basically allow you to do is, if, say, for example, the standard form you want to show is 7 fields long, but you know for a fact, and this is a fact, that most website visitors do not enjoy filling in long forms. They want it short, quick, easy, put in my details, there we go. So to show you an example, again, this is an example from our own website. We have this form. So the standard form is 5 fields long, and then we have 2 progressive fields set up, right? Let me just close that. So here we can see if we already have first name, last name, or job title, then we ask them a new question. So it's not for every time they see the form on the website, they would have to re-enter the same information over and over, and we don't get any new information. So when the form pops up again and we have some of the information, it allows us to ask different questions. So in this case, it can be phone number, and also, are you a HubSpot customer already? So the other thing that comes with progressive forms is the dependent fields, right? So the dependent fields basically allow you to ask follow-up questions. So basically, it can be, how long have you been using HubSpot? What HubSpot products are you using? So this allows us to kind of get more granular details systematically over time on existing contacts, without from the beginning bombarding them with a lot of questions and an extra long form, which they most likely won't fill in to start with. So rather than getting no information, we get little bits of information over time to help us improve our data, improve the ways that we communicate, improve basically how we set up our personas, for example, and all in all, just give us better data to work with.
That's great. We had a workshop yesterday with one of our big clients, and we were talking a lot about progressive forms, and how it takes the guesswork out of segmenting. If we can get the prospect to fill all this in, they're automatically going to populate the list, do the segmentation. The automation can run off the back of that. The retargeting and stuff like that can run off the back of it with your advertising, and it's all just completely seamless. But as we've said before, and some of the other things, not only is it seamless for us as HubSpot users, but also the experience the person's getting is much, much more relevant and interesting for them. So massively love progressive forms. I think they're amazing. Back to you.
Okay, great. So then the next item we have is chat flows. So chat flows is essentially the little chatbot on your website that pops up and say, hey, can I help you? Do you have a question? Is anything going on? And this is another place where we can really easily gather information instead of just having a conversation. It allows us to actually save little bits of that conversation into our CRM to, again, just enrich our data and learn more about the people that we're speaking to. So for this, I set up a little example. And here in this example, we basically start off the conversation with two questions. I want to talk to someone, or I need help with HubSpot. So in the first case, this gives you, I want to talk to someone, gives you the perfect opportunity to ask for their name, ask for their email, ask for their company size. You can list a couple of questions there. And within the HubSpot tool, it actually allows you to skip the question if you already have that information. If you know who they are, you don't have to ask for their name and their email again. You can maybe only ask for company size. And then once you've asked a couple of questions and gotten a little bit of information, then you can send them to the chatbot or to book a meeting or to whatever the rest of your chat flow might be. But this is the perfect opportunity to, once again, get little bits of information to just help you to enrich your CRM data before carrying on, essentially. So then with the next one, for example, I need help with HubSpot, right? So a simple example for this would be, what are you interested in learning about? And then asking them which one of the hubs they are interested in. So what we did here as an example is, if they say marketing hub, you can, again, ask them a question which would help you better communicate with them further down the line. So like, for example, what is your job title? And once they've given you that answer, then you can continue with the rest of the chat flow to send them to knowledge-based articles or to downloadable content, whatever you would like the rest of that flow to be. And then another example of something that you can do is, if they say Sales Hub, is you can actually have a property automatically update. In this case, we said the contact property topic to be set to Sales Hub. So then if sales or marketing look at this contact, they can see, okay, this contact is interested in the Sales Hub. They've actually inquired about the Sales Hub before. Let's start a conversation with them about the Sales Hub. So again, similar to the progressive forms, it's a really, really easy way to get more specific, detailed information about contacts, to just improve the experience you can show them on your website through customization, or to just improve the conversation you want to have with them further down the line. And yeah, that's basically chat flows and how you can use chat flows to get more data.
That's great, Adore. Question we've got is there form logic with chat flows? So can you, I'm guessing, is there, if they say yes, then serve up extra question. If they say no, don't ask another question. Yes. So can you, if then?
I can actually show you that. So there definitely is if when. So here, if I go to this one, for example, you can see here there's if then branches. So you can completely customize these. So here we see if the response is Marketing Hub, then we send them down the one chat flow line. If the response is Sales Hub, we send them down the other chat line. And if nothing is chosen, you also have an option to what to send that to. So the chat flow there's a lot that you can do in here. There's a lot of different things that you can select from. And the if then branches can basically go into infinity. You can add as many combinations, variations, add steps in between. It's quite elaborate in what you are able to achieve with the chat flow.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And you've got another question, Adore. I think it's back to the progressive forms. Do they can they apply to landing pages as well as web pages?
Progressive forms, yes. So a progressive form is basically the same as a standard form. You can put them on landing pages, site pages. I'm pretty sure you can embed them onto pages outside of HubSpot. So they essentially work the same as your standard HubSpot forms would in terms of where you can put them.
Yeah, actually, Basho, just thanks, Adore. And yeah, that's my understanding as well, is that you can take the form API and put, connect another website that you've got and still bring the data into a single HubSpot instance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, because that's what I get asked that a lot. So we've got customers that might have essentially, they're essentially one company, but they might be running 3 or 4 different websites because they're slightly different brands, but actually they want it all to go into one place. So that's brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so then our next example is behavioral events. And for this, I will hand over to Basho.
Yeah, next thing, yeah. So what is custom behavioral events? So it's just basically in short, so create custom event to track any activity done by visitor on your website or app. So personalize your marketing based on their action and also track their performance of this event over time. So I'm gonna just share my screen here so that you can see how just to use it. Okay. So in order to access the personalization, the custom behavioral event, so you come to report and then you click analytic tools, and this is where you're gonna see it there. So in the past we had just the basic behavioral event, which is legacy now. So HubSpot now they did kind of like upgrade it. So there's some nice features they're adding there. So we're gonna go to check the beta version. So here is where you're gonna click, you're gonna, you create the events. And then, so how would you like to create and track your events? So with the custom behavioral events, so you have, you can track based on visited URL, clicked element, manual tracked events, and also the custom JavaScript. So for the visit or automatically tracked page views for URL. So later, for instance, if you have a membership system and if someone logged in, so you can track that, and after that, later in your workflow, you can trigger later, for instance, when someone log in and then they must see this kind of page or the welcome page in a different way or different content, something like that. So that also it can help. And also another one, we have the clicked element. In HubSpot, we have CTA. CTA is helping us to track. It's kind of like a built-in button that HubSpot is providing us to track the user behavior. So by clicking the CTA, which was kind of like limited on for the CTA. You see, so now HubSpot is giving us also another way of doing it using the regular button or just using later, for instance, a sections, or if you have some product listing and then you want someone click that product listing, something must happen. You see, so you're gonna be able now to track all those kind of elements. So that's why they can see that it says HTML element. So you can track now, anything you want. Sometimes also, we always have a problem with JavaScript with the HubSpot CTA because of the HubSpot CTA is using JavaScript. Sometimes can load the performance of the website. So now you have to use, if you want, you can use the regular button, but after that you can also use the this elements, the events where you can start to track the user behavior. So yeah, that is help. So how do you use this user behavior HTML element? So as you can see here, we have You can add in your HTML, you can add an ID, so it must be unique. So ID tag, or it can be class. So even if that class needs to be, it must be unique, so that you can do, you can get the proper event. So they wanted to absolutely set it up like that. So yeah, that's one. And also, how do you now, once you do the tracking and stuff like that, later on now you can try to use it in your workflow. So how do you do that in your workflow? So for instance, here in a workflow, you can delay based on customer behavior and event completions. So once you set up those tracking, so you set them up, and then in your workflow now, you're gonna just have to go there and you create your, if you can see the delay functions or delay widgets. So where you can you can do, based on data sources, you select contact address workflow. And then later, for instance, if your event name was mobile app login, like I was saying there, and then you can track also based on, let's say, for instance, device, the user did log in using their device. So which means that you're gonna show them a nice user experience of your website. So instead of showing, because of with the desktop view and also the mobile view is kind of like different. Maybe you want to give them a different view instead of building like a web app, but you can use your website to act like a web app on mobile, you see. So you need those kind of event tracking, based on your workflow, so they can really, that event tracking, it can really help to give a customer a nice user experience. So we're going to send to you guys also this the link here, which also can help you later on just to go through it and then to see how important the behavioral event can really help you to track any movement around your website pages. In the past, we had, not in the past, right now we have also another one called Hotjar. So Hotjar is just, you are viewing what the customer they are doing on the website, but this one is really nice because of you can set specific elements, and from those specific element, HTML element or the pages, that can really help you to give or to gather those web activities, and you can do whatever you want with the web activity in your workflow, and then you can put whatever triggers you want there. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Basha. I mean, that's just incredible, isn't it? And the ability to put this code on other sites or other apps that the customer's got is amazing as well. Am I right in saying, Basha, that it's worth saying as well, obviously Basha is a developer. So if you're on this webinar as maybe as a more generalist marketing person, you're thinking, wow, this sounds great. I've got no idea how to do it. Obviously, we can do that. Basha can do that for you. But Basha, if we've got another use case I hear a lot of is, particularly in the software space, is I've got HubSpot, I've got a website, and HubSpot's on the website, but I've also got my app, my portal that my customers use. What I really want to be able to do is track in HubSpot when our customers do things on our app, and that's something we can do.
Yes. So there is a yeah. So once you set it up, you can also set it up like that, and so there is some other snippet that HubSpot can provide, which is, for instance, like this one here is also but this one is a jQuery stuff that you can use it also with your, later, for instance, you have WordPress website, you see, you can connect with it, and those HubSpot is providing some kind of embed custom JavaScript here. So once you set it up, HubSpot is going to provide you some embed that you're going to use it in your different, if it's going to be app or if it's going to be a different website. So you're going to connect that embed, yeah. So it's the same thing that we do with the CTA. You copy the embed CTA, and then after that you paste it in your different third-party CMS. It can be, yeah. So any third party. So we have CTA forms and also custom behavioral events. So you can do so as well.
That's amazing, Basha. Thank you very much for taking us through that. That was awesome. So we're going to get back to main slides now, and so thanks for everyone for joining us so far. I mean, Q&A, do ask. We've had 3 or 4 questions already. do keep your questions coming about anything that we've talked about here or anything related to it that you've got questions on. Put them in the panel in the Q&A area. But we're going to move on now back to Basho actually, because Basho is going to show you what a real life example of a HubSpot membership portal. Basho, over to you. Let's show these guys what can be done with this new feature.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So the most important part is so HubSpot did release this membership. The point is that we used to have workshop meeting with HubSpot internal team and stuff like that because of a lot of customer in the past. They were complaining that HubSpot is just having marketing content website, but there's no a login system like we do have in WordPress. So in WordPress, you build your website, and also if you have members and stuff like, or customers that they want to have kind of like a privatized content, you see, so there is a way to build the login system, and then they can go inside and access their own content and stuff like that. So in the past, we did not have it. So now HubSpot did build this membership area. So the membership is a feature that makes it possible to require visitor to have an account in order to access content. So I'm going to show you the kind of like a sample that we did create. Okay. So as you can see here, so also the same thing that when we're talking about the CRM, so this is the membership system. So is the proper way to use now to utilize the CRM power, where you can, provide the customer a nice personalized experience. So from the membership, you can kind of like pull any kind of data. So let's say, for instance, here we have the profile page. So with the profile page, you can gather the information. Let's say, for instance, like the contact properties. So in your CRM properties, so you can collect like contact properties. You can pull all the information. This is just the basic one. And then you can see the email, phone, and also company info. So here we just limited there. You can add like as much stuff that you have, you can put there for your customers. They can see their personalization and stuff there. And we have also things like the ticket. So HubSpot is providing with the CRM objects, we have products, we have marketing events, we have quotes, we have deals, we have custom objects. So all those CRM objects, you're gonna be able to pull them to pull them in your CRM. So only the two CRM objects that they're kind of like public, you can make them, you can be accessible publicly, or using the membership, so the private content. So we have the products, as you can see, this CRM. So there's information coming from the product CRM custom object inside, CRM object inside HubSpot. So this can be, you can pull this information using the private content system, or it can just be publicly. The same goes with the events, like you can see the event that we're having today. So this information is also coming from the backend, from the HubSpot portal, where, if you set up the event there, so it can display the event that's happening there. So it can give you all the list of the events there. You see, so the other content that CRM data that is kind of like privatized is like the deals, codes, and also kind of like custom object. Custom object is just on both sides. It can be public, or it can also be privatized. So the nice thing with custom object, you can see, you can do whatever you want, because with custom object, HubSpot is giving us now the power to create a lot of objects. As you can see, product is an object, events object, code is an object. So now, once you add custom objects, so you can create different kind of things you want to do there. Later, for instance, you want to have a referral program, or for instance, you're a real estate company, and then after that, you want to have kind of like a properties, CRM object. You see, so you're gonna be able to pull those information, as you can see there. So that is the nice thing with when it comes to custom objects. So here you can see there, we did manage to pull also data from the tickets. So you can pull also the CRM ticket data as well. So you can show, the customer, they can be able to see, the ticket that they did log, and also the ticket that has been completed or they're still in progress or something like that. You see, so you can show them to your customers. So that is the nice part of it. Yeah.
Actually, I was just going to ask because one of the use cases I hear a lot about is where people have partner channels, and they might want to surface deals. They might want to surface certain information, such as deals that involve that partner. But often they don't do that because they don't want to give the partner access to their HubSpot portal, right? Because there's loads of other stuff in there that they don't want to give them access to. So in this thing here, could you then handle that? So you could just pull through deals or other objects that were just relevant to that company or that list.
Yeah. So once you create the deals and you associate the deals to the contact, so yeah, that contact is going to be able now to to pull the deal information. So the way that we're gonna code it. So we're gonna pull the information for that particular user. You see, so that is the great part of it. And the most important part also, like this product here, you later, for instance, you click there, you have kind of like a list of products, and it can be a dynamic product as well. So you click there, you go to the internal page where you can set up, later, for instance, another form here or a button like pay now or something like that. You see, so now you can gather all those information. So let's call it like a dynamic CRM object. So yeah, so HubSpot is providing already. Yeah, it's providing this, and you can do a lot of stuff. You can also connect it with your later, for instance, the account billing. So later, for instance, you right now HubSpot is giving us another object that they are busy working on, which is the invoice. So you can connect your QuickBooks to HubSpot. So you're gonna pull those kind of invoices, and then after that, you can also put those invoices later, for instance, on that account and billing. But right now we didn't connect it yet. So you can do that connections, or you can just integrate it to any accounting software, Xero, stuff like that, to just pull the data and show to that customers, like the invoice or just the quotes. Yes. And also, another thing is you can also have, later, for instance, the private content now, which is accessible to logged in user. Let's say, for instance, this one here, we have the resources. So the resources is pulling data just for, the logged in user. They can see different kind of resources that you can pull for them. And the same way that we have with this webinar, you click there, and then after that, you have the list of the webinar that's happening. You even see there. See, so this is the nice thing with the you can iframe it, or you can use Ajax to pull data. This is the one we're just using a basic iframe, but you can use Ajax to pull the data only. So that is the nice thing. Or you can just use the dynamic page. So this one we're using the AppDB, that's to pull those kind of information. You see. So we pull the listing, and after that, you also have kind of like a dynamic page, you see, where you can put all your data there. Yeah. So that is the nice thing. So it's just personalization data, and also the content for that the logged in user, only the logged in user, they can be able to access those kind of informations there. And also another thing that you can do is to connect your customer portal to this membership. Right now, HubSpot is giving us, so in the customer portal that we have right now, you're not able to change, let's say, for instance, the structure, stuff like that. They're giving kind of like a basic menu themselves, you see, so which is kind of like difficult. So what we did is like, we create an iframe, and then after that we pull that ticket, you see, as you can see there. Just
so it's much more flexible.
Yeah, it's much more flexible there, and the customer, they can see their stuff there. So this is the HubSpot now, kind of like iframe widgets, but at the same time they're giving us opportunity also to pull data. You see, so if you want, later, for instance, you want your ticket listing to look nicer than like this. So so that also can be, it can be done. So
Pasho, and I'm right in saying that then, I mean, obviously we've designed this to look like this style, but you can design it to have whatever layout style you want, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this one, yeah. So this is the way that you see this is for HubSpot. And now this one here is the one that we did pull. So which means that you can do whatever now you want. So if you want to make it like this one, to make it the user, it must really look nice. So you're going to create a different page. And then after that, we pull data and then we give it a style, different style or different position. This one go to there and that, yeah. So you can change like that, yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, gosh, Basho, wow, well done to you and the team for being so fast to produce that, which is only, a very recent feature from HubSpot. So that's really good. Obviously, anybody listening, please get in contact if you think this is something that could be useful for your business. And we will see if we can help you. So actually, that brings us towards the end of the session today. I've put a poll up there. If you'd like to speak to us, please let us know, and we're happy to pick up the conversation. I want to thank Adore and Basho for sharing your expertise today. That was awesome. And really just a few things about us, just to say about us is that, we do all sorts of services. Here today, we're talking about CMS development. So you might need custom development for our entire website, and we can handle the designing, building, and setting live and looking after websites. We can work on individual parts of websites, modules, membership portals, or indeed just landing pages. But then we do a whole range of other services for HubSpot users, from starting your journey with onboarding through to all sorts of marketing services. So please get in contact if you need to. And obviously we are Elite and Google partners as well. Thank you very much for your time. Please get in contact and please share this content with anybody in your organization or elsewhere that you think would benefit from it. And another thank you to the guys, and have a fantastic day.
Yes, thanks. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.